I'm really excited for this matchup. I'm looking at Lee's deck list right now, and I there's just so many interesting choices in here that I really like. In addition to the fact that we have a Decidueye deck that's running Delinquent, which is just
Right.
fantastic.
And we saw it used. I mean, I would argue it wasn't to as great effect as it would have been. I mean, discarding to 0 the turn it was used in top 4 was great with the Lysander top deck, but yeah, we did see it get some use, so that's how Vulcan just posted on Twitter. Love it.
I'm gonna have to go give them a follow from the Ruby Retro account
Do
after
it.
after witnessing that greatness.
Giovanni's meme.
Fantastic. I think I played that in one deck. Played it one time.
I think I've played it in a deck before as well. It was back before Sun and Moon though. It was like just the breakpoint, like breakthrough breakpoint formats. But anyway, we'll focus on this game here. We see the Espeon start. We've done our pass. So the finals are underway. Lee is going to be our POV here with this Drampa Garb deck up against Gabriel, our returning champion, with the Decidueye Ninetales deck, and Espeon is probably the worst thing you could see if you're Gabriel.
Yeah, I was just about to say that because not only does it not really do anything in any matches until what, like turn 15, it's also weak to Psychic, which means it
Sure
just has a
is.
huge target on its back.
Yeah, and it's just sitting there in the active, and you have to move it out of the active. It's just like really, really not where it wants to be. I think it's second attack. You don't even play Psychic, so you couldn't even attack with second attack. Like it's literally
No.
just here to devolve in this deck, and it's not even really that great in this matchup either, unless you're able to spread with a lot with Coco. But again, if you've already watched top 4, this is the 4th straight game that the turn 1 Bridget has been found. This time another organic Bridget. Going and get,
Consistency.
yeah, consistency with the one Bridget. And there's a
Oh, and
delinquent.
there's the delinquent too. Wow, opening all of the one-ups this game.
The battery incident was not that bad. Well,
I
I'm
uh,
glad it wasn't that bad, Lindsay.
I really like Lee's hand though, and I think the start there was pretty smart too, just playing it kind of slow, seeing what your opponent's going to do because the hand overall is pretty reactive.
Mhm. It's a little unfortunate that you have to commit this rainbow to the active, though. I almost wonder if we might see an N instead, or I guess you could attach a Sycamore a lot of this away, but you put the energy on the active, you miss out on getting the damage onto the bench. And this is something we should mention in this
Right.
matchup too, is that with Decidueye's Feather Arrows, it's really weird because you want to put damage on Pokemon, but if you put them on bench Pokemon, you activate Trampa's Berserk. So it's a very
Yeah.
awkward, like weird interaction of like, well, I need to put damage in play, but then it kind of helps them.
If I had to guess, I would say that Gabriel's going to be targeting down Drampas with most of their feather arrows, just to kind of say, look, I'll put damage on your board. It's just not going to be where you want it, and
Right.
force Lee to find a second Drampa, basically.
Yeah, and then
I
it
think
keeps your trade on the two prizers as well. You can focus on those.
I actually really like this discard here in the Ultra Ball, going for that early garbage auction just to try to shut everything off.
Right.
I'm putting the choice band down, and oh, okay, maybe on the
Oh,
active. Interesting.
yeah, I think, well, I mean, you do play a bunch of float stones. You are going to Sycamore, so it is pretty likely
Yeah,
that you find another tool. And of
you were
course, we
saying.
whiff.
I was
But the
almost wondering there
Berserk,
if, like,
yeah.
so, right, you put the choice band down, you put the rainbow down, and then maybe you just big wheel.
I
Like
was just going
that.
to
That
say that,
also
yeah.
seems like that could be a play too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because hitting
Because
this
now,
this for 110 just feel like you have a Garb in play, but like there's no Trubbish down. So like, okay, cool. Like that just feels
right?
pretty poor.
I mean, I will say that if you're Gabriel, if you're going to be taking a knockout on this Garbodor this turn, you need a lot of cards to do it. But
Well,
that said,
that Skyla's not gonna. You can't do it with the Skyla.
no,
Yeah.
I don't think it's happening. I think you need far more than the 6 cards in hand that you have to work with, especially because, there's no forest in play, there's no owls out, there's no like big owls out. Yeah, we're just gonna see a beacon here.
Wow, so it actually seems like the Garbotoxin probably wouldn't have been that relevant. Now it will be relevant now that we've seen that the Lele has been found, and
Right.
you could also even end to disrupt the hand. But I actually didn't. I don't know. Yeah, I was like, I like that. I like this aggressive chase with the Lysander because you know that your opponent doesn't have the best hand if they just went to get a Lele. But
Right.
I also like the trade-off of playing the N and then trying to find a float stone to establish the Garbotoxin lock. So I feel like I would have preferred to just play the N. And it goes back to not having that choice band on the Garbodor. Now, of course, if you do put the choice band on the Garbodor, you make it a very easy Lysander target, something that, it can just sit there in the active and not be able to move. And you could potentially like flying flip to go around it. Obviously, as long as it has that tool attached to it, there are no feather arrows that can be played. But you can at least kind of strand it in the active and then use flying flip to put some damage on the rest of the board around it. So maybe that's what League was worried about.
Right, because he does only play two field blower, so that kind of forces him to try to have to find something. I will say, though, a lot of good restraint on Lee's part, not targeting down that Espeon and taking the two prizes straight away. One, because it denies an owl from getting into play, and now we see the bench is kind of clogged with that Shaman on there. But also what it does, too, is it kind of avoids the situation we ran into last game with the
Right.
Volcanion player, where they had like 30 some cards left in deck and they're getting N down to such a low hand size. It definitely makes it, it opens you up to being able to find more playable cards. You get a bigger hand to work with. And speaking of a hand to work with, there's no draw
Ugh.
supporters in Lee's hand, but he can now establish the Berserk.
Yeah, he can establish the Berserk and the Garbotoxin lock, and you're not really pressured whatsoever. Like, what really is going to come in here and take out this Drampa on the next turn if you're able to get
Right.
that lock established, and you take a prize, go to even prizes again. So, yeah, like you said, this hand, while it looks really ugly at first, you're like, well, actually, this is kind of everything you need.
Right, and additionally, you still have access to Big Wheel at some point. So, if you really can't find anything after you get the Berserk established and start going, you still have an out to just draw 10 new cards.
Ooh.
And a failed beacon, I want. Oh, and we top deck the Lele. But a failed beacon, I wonder what's in hand.
I also wonder if that was a misclick maybe, or the timer ran out or something. Like, do you
Right.
ever intentionally fail that? I guess if you have a Sycamore and you're like, I don't want to get a bunch of Pokemon, I already have a Decidueye in hand, maybe, and you just kind of want to let this Vulpix get knocked out. I don't know. That's really interesting. I wonder what that was about.
I don't know, but what I do think, we're about to see is we're probably going to see a Wonder Tag, grab a Sycamore here, or oh, okay, just a
Wow.
Lysander. Guess going really aggressive here. Interesting. I
Okay,
think
I
I
like
like
this
this play
though.
though.
Wow,
I
and
think though I still would
choosing,
play that Floatstone down.
yeah, choosing to keep. This is really interesting. Well, okay, so here's my thinking on this though. Keeping the Floatstone in your hand means that you are now keeping your own Lele as an out off potentially getting end. And your
Okay.
opponent doesn't really like they have no Rowlets in play right now. Like the most they could have gotten this turn, even if you Garbotoxin them, like the most they could have gotten is one Decidueye in play. Right? So
Yeah.
I guess you're not really worried about abilities this turn, and it just kind of like leaves yourself open to drawing out of an N against you later in the game because like the rest of this hand isn't that great for follow-ups, but now you
Right.
at least have another Lele as a follow-up potentially. Ultra Ball is now a live top deck for you.
Well, and now I'm looking back at Lee's list, and what makes that play, I think, make even more sense is the fact that he plays for Lele in the list. So the fact, that he could just draw one straight away is not that out of the question here.
Right. I think Tord was the one who played for Lele in this list. This list is a little bit different
Right.
than Tord's, I think. I don't remember there being special charge or for was this the special charge for Rainbow Energy builds?
Yeah, and there's also, I'm not sure, did Tord play a Teammates in his?
I don't recall if he did, but it was a staple in a lot of lists because it's a very very good card. I know it in Worlds. It was in Sam Chen's list, and I think is also in Sam's list from this event as well. So we definitely did see teammates a lot in these Garb decks, but I don't recall if Tord himself played it, to be honest. But it's very similar, and the 4 Lele was also, like we said, it was a something common in this era. Tandem TCG, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Here in the finals of Riley's Retro number 6, game 1. Master Lee doing masterful things. And like there we see the Lele once again. And now we can go Floatstone Sycamore.
I pulled Tord's list up. He did in fact play the teammates. This is actually really close to Tord's list. It looks like the only thing that was changed was a Psychic Energy was cut in favor of a special charge. Tord did actually play 4 Rainbow.
Wow, okay, but he didn't play any stadiums though, right? It was the 4 Rainbow and no
Right.
no Magma base, yeah.
So I'm wondering, okay.
They're just teammates.
Yeah.
It is Riley from Twitter.
The teammates is just fantastic because you don't have to play any item cards to find what you need.
Right, it's great in the mirror, yeah. There's the Field Blower. Riley from Twitch, Riley from YouTube, Riley from Discord. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. I'm everywhere. You can't get rid of me.
Not going anywhere.
Yeah, I was also on Hive for a hot second, but that was Twitter at home, like worse Twitter. So
didn't I see you on MySpace the other day too?
I have actually, okay, fun fact. So I'm 29. I have never had a MySpace.
I mean, I'm 27. I've never had one either.
Yeah. I don't know. It never appealed to me.
Just more of a running joke than anything else at this point.
Why don't you get Riley in real life? Well, from real life or in real life? Because, like, obviously I'm from real life. Like, from my perspective, it's from real life. But, yeah, I mean, if you guys, like, I'll probably be at, like, NAIC. I'm trying to go to Orlando as well. So you can potentially see me at events. Either, or I'm not complaining, yeah. The customization of MySpace. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It definitely had some cool stuff going for it. And, like, looking back on it, I'm like, I could have started my journey as a, yes, we have to play Retro Lindsay for sure. I could have started my journey back as like an internet personality back in those days, but here we are, and we did see a Sky Return. Gotta keep us focused, folks, because I will get distracted, very distracted. But we did see the Sky Return.
I was just about to say we're getting close to the point where you almost just want to commit that choice band for the Garbotoxin. But what I think is really concerning for Lee is the fact that you're at 3 prizes and you still have 30 cards left in deck. And okay, we're gonna see the big wheel here.
Interesting.
But you know, we're starting to get to that point where it's getting kind of dangerous.
All 4 via Seeker. Wow.
All right, this man's gone to the casino.
But you're right. It's interesting because now you run the risk of getting end, and all this whole hand is gone. And we do see the other 2 Lele's in hand, so that was one thing I was gonna say. Well, I guess now you have the choice band on that Garb though. So Lele is no longer an out to a supporter. So yeah, just like you said, with that many cards left in deck, like N is huge. Do we know how many items Gabriel has played? This Ultra Ball will definitely add to that total. I think it's a couple though.
And Ultra Ball not discarding any items, which is good.
Yeah, that's always good. And there is at least the Forest in play, so we can get into a Decidueye this turn. Maybe even go for like a Hollow Hunt or something if you need to. I don't think really want to put that Decidueye out like that if you don't need to, but definitely looking for a Floatstone a Field Blower to get rid of that tool if you are Gabriel, or
And I think you're also just looking for an N.
Yeah, N would be pretty good, but just the Beacon. So all 4 VS Seekers are going to stay in Lee's hand. That is Not what we wanted to see if we're on Gabriel's side, but yeah, I mean, of course, Big Wheel, you get 10 cards to work with, so you're going to have everything. And I think Lee really only needs like one card, and that's the VS Seeker. You can attach an energy to like a Lele or something too, maybe. Actually, I think you would proactively attach to this Garb even. You could attach like a Psychic Energy to the Garb to just play around like a potential, like if you're really worried about it getting like Lysander stalled or something, like you could proactively attach to it because it does have a 3 retreat cost. So you could actually manually retreat it.
But
Wow.
now we see. Okay, so that explains why we could never find a floatstone on
Yeah.
the board.
Well, so was that 2 floatstone off the prizes?
Yeah.
I think Lee took a floatstone off the prize earlier too. So Lee had 3 floatstones prized. I'm pretty sure Lee had 3 floatstones prized. That's absurd.
That explains a lot, actually. Okay, I think, yeah, it looks like this one's just going to be over.
That's going to be game 1. Going to Lee, we'll have the VS Seeker for Lysander to bring up the Espeon, finish that off with Berserk. Take the final prize, and unfortunately this Hollow Hunt, yeah, a little bit too little too late. Those would have been some great cards to have if we had more time, but this one is going to go to Lee. Yeah, I'll go first, Rip. Yeah, well, we had the 4 VS Seeker in hand, Gabriel, so no, don't hit Blake. What did Blake ever do to you?
So unnecessary.
So unnecessary, but we will move into game 2. Well, moving into game 2, definitely going to want to go first if you're Gabriel, get your setup going, hopefully get your 5th consecutive organic Bridget if you can, and get those bench Pokemon down. You'd even love to get maybe a forest, like if you can dream big, get the forest of giant plants into a couple Decidueyes down if you can, put some pressure out early, and we'll see what we have.
Pretty strong opening hand from Lee here. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, speaking of organic Bridget, there it is in Lee's hand.
I was just about to say, Riley, now's your cue.
Organic Bridgets for days. Floatstone to start, though. Trainer Red with the 5 gifted subs. Oh my god. Wow, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. We got one to Lindsay, Mimi, Gaming Hunter, and Kira. I can't speak, y'all. Thank you so much, Trainer Red. That means so much to me. I appreciate it. Welcome all to the Riley Cinematic Universe, the Rileyverse. You are now all main characters. Welcome. I really appreciate that, though, Trainer Red. That means so much to me. Thanks for the 5 gifted. Whew. Okay. This has been a great day.
Love that for you.
We got some Blake attacking. We got some sub. It's great. It's great.
Now, what's not great is
great segue. Excellent segue.
Thank you. Yeah, what's not great is this opening turn here from Gabriel. So we missed the Bridget. It doesn't look like there's finding much off this end here either. Whereas Lee just has a really strong opening hand.
Yeah, I mean, you lose the organic Bridget, but you have the next best thing in the what's the next best thing to organic? Oh god. Like I guess you can go from like vegan down to like grass fed. I don't know, but we have the Lele for Bridget to get that.
Right, so if you have the Lele, it's grass fed, but if you have to use the Ultra Ball, does that just mean it's genetically engineered?
It has to be, right? Free range. Genetically engineered. Oh my god. It's like a GMO and you have to use the Ultra Ball. Like it's like it tastes good, but it feels gross. You're like, right. I feel so gross doing this.
I'm wondering here though if we're even gonna see the Lele hit the board for the Bridget. It looks like we're just gonna try to find a Trubbish and maybe play an N.
I just have to say, Tandem, that's really funny. I think I'm gonna like, is it mean to refer to non-subs in chat as NPCs? Like, is that mean? I think that's funny.
I think that's pretty good.
If you're not a sub, you're an NPC.
and if you don't like it, you better sub.
Exactly. If you want to be what is it? Non-playable character is that what it stands for? So if you want to be a playable character, just sub. And yeah, Trainer Ed, you are all good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, again, I've been calling my Quagsire Pokemon Diamond a GMO Super Piece. It is 2022. That's correct. Yes. Um, that is correct for a few more weeks at least. But anyway, moving back to this game, we got very sidetracked. YouTube's like, all right, we
That's
get it.
okay. I don't think we missed too much here. Not much happening on really either player's side. I think Gabriel's probably the furthest along here, but even still, no Forest of Giant Plants, no Decidueye coming down to try to capitalize on the Drampa guard player taking it a little bit slower.
Yeah, background characters is probably better than NPC. It is the RCU, so background characters. There we go. And you guys can have spin-offs. That's how you sub and you get your own spin-off. There we go. Sold. So I'm curious though, didn't we saw we had the Lele before? Did we just see an N from Lee? Did we not see a Bridget that turn?
Yeah, I think he just opted to play the end there. He got the one Trubbish down and then said
Interesting.
that's enough. And I'm guessing was looking for an energy attachment there, but
Yeah,
didn't find it
maybe.
off the end. I don't know if I really like this flying flip play
Yeah, I
here.
don't
So you're
either.
putting you're only attacking two. You're potentially walking into a righteous edge, and on top
Well,
of it, you're setting up berserk math.
yeah, exactly. You just activated Berserk. Like, okay, cool. Well, that damage is sticking forever now, so like you don't need to find that rainbow energy. You can just get some attachments down. And we'll see. I don't know, like the Righteous Edge, I don't think you're necessarily super worried about that. You could potentially um, need to big wheel or something if you're elite. But I guess the flying flip to kind of give a different spin on it, though, it does at least potentially put this Garb in range if you're able to get like, you need like triple Feather Arrow. I mean, now you need a field blower too. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a world where you could just like try to get another flying flip and then go for like a couple feather arrows to take it out after a field blower or something. But yeah, I don't
Oh
know.
no.
Yeah.
What is this hand?
Oh, and it's gone. Hello?
Uh-oh.
No. Uh, hello? Oh my god.
Um,
It's not on my end because
Here we go. It's stabilized, I think.
uh-oh, yeah. Okay. Whew. I swear, it's the funniest thing though. We had this whole like, we had the best part is my face lighting up. What when I change screens or, um, but yeah, we've had like this whole tournament. We haven't had any issues with anything whatsoever until we hit top cut. Hi Ryan, thanks for the bonk. Until we hit top cut, and then in top four, like my stream crashed for like 3 seconds, and we missed like half of a turn or whatever, and now this happening, like it was perfectly fine until we hit cut.
And okay, so we're probably just going to see the big wheel here. This
Yeah,
hand is so bad.
and honestly, this is the thing with these Drampa Garb decks, and this is why cards like Teammates were good in here, and this is honestly this is why you played for Lele because this deck can just oh god no, please no. Oh. Well, this deck can just draw that badly sometimes. You have so many different evolution pieces with those two different Garbodors. You have the Trebuchets and everything. You have a bunch of energy, bunch of float stones and tools that don't really benefit you. Oh, this is so sad. We see an N. Okay, so Gabriel at least getting the N. Please, please,
That's definitely step
please.
one here.
Okay, okay. Well, I will say though, I will at least appreciate the fact that we have any stream at all because neither of these players were able to stream previously. So thanks again to Lee for at least trying to give us the best quality stream we can get.
Right.
Just here grinding live. You are a bold person, Tandem. Live is not the most popular. I have yet to play it still, but I've heard
Live
tales.
is not for the faint heart.
Yeah. But back to the game here. Now that if it wants to, oh god, it's because I said something, right? It's because I'm focusing on it. If I look away and just if I just talk to chat, There's no way it keeps doing this, right?
Right. I mean, so we saw that definitely was a Razor Leaf there for the knockout, and Garbotoxin's still live.
Which means this Lele's
Thankfully,
dead. I think we have at least the N in the discard off the Via Seeker, though, right?
yes, and I think he discarded a Lysander earlier too. Um,
Oh, we could use this Lele as an attacker here, actually. This is pretty strong.
I like
Yeah.
that a lot. I still wonder if you want to end here though. Just, I mean, they have 6 cards in hand. You could take them down to 4.
Well, but they don't have the Field Blower. They didn't play the Field Blower. I guess they did just take 2 prizes, though, so...
Interesting that Lee
Yeah.
opted to not put a choice band on the Lele, maybe thinking you might be able to float stone that. But I feel like you'd rather just hold on to the float stone for like, I'm assuming the Sky was taking the field blower so that you can get the Garbotoxin back up.
Tandem, that's my roommate. It's okay. Oh, Hydrate? I got you. Yeah, hi, Rose. Even though you're, like, literally in the other room. Thanks for coming back. Yes. Yeah, Tandem, that's my roommate. That's Rose. Tandem's like, who the fuck are you? What are we drinking tonight? This is water. I'm staying hydrated. Yeah, see, we're missed. Okay, cool. That was a very aggressive F-bomb, so I was just like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, I'm a big water fan as well. Big water fan. Imagine hydrating. I know, right?
Okay, so 40 damage pinged onto the Lele. I like that.
Thank you, Nick, for
Probably.
keeping us on topic.
No, you're fine. So we see a Razor Leaf coming down. So that sets up that Lele pretty good, actually, because if there's a second Decidueye that ever gets into play, or, well, not a second one, it's already on board. What am I saying? If there's another field blower that gets into play and takes off Floatstone here from that Garbodor with Garbotoxin, then you can just ping that Lele.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're probably going to see the Sycamore
Wow,
here.
Sycamore,
Yep.
okay. Yeah, the 3 cards in hand. This would have been great if you also played a Delinquent, Lee.
Right?
And we will pick up this KO at least with Berserk, so that's great. You know, go down to
It's pretty strong.
take away the Feather Arrow option. So now at least you need to find Field Blower plus another Decidueye to take out that Lele on the bench with double Feather Arrow ping, like you mentioned. So
How many?
actually, you could
I
also
wonder how
go
many-
with yeah. Excuse me.
I was just gonna say, I wonder how many DCE they're down.
2 was that?
Like a. Sorry, what were you saying? I didn't mean to cut you off there, Riley.
No, it's okay. Well, I'm counting the items. 1, 2, 3. I think it was like 5 or 6. This might be 7.
Okay.
Was my quick count. I think it's between like I would say like between like 6 and 8 maybe. Is my guess. So not a ton. Decidueye still survives, which is good, even through that choice band. Although another field blower could be huge. But so here's the interesting thing again, because now Lee's hand is not good, but because of the Garbotoxin. But if Gabriel finds a field blower, it could be like that unlocks the hand suddenly. So in the meantime, this Drampa's not going anywhere. So you can
Right.
hollow hunt here, but now this Drampa's going to fire off another Berserk into this Decidueye.
Right, and like you were saying, you know, if you get the field blower, will you just activate their Lele on a pretty dead hand?
Right.
Now there is the choice band on that active Decidueye that's hollow hunting. Okay, that's pretty much what I would expect on the hollow hunt for them to get back. They can Razor Leaf. Razor Leaf will put it up to 140. So actually, they could do 2 pings into the active and knock it out next turn if they want to go that route. So then you're taking away the Drampa, and then you only have to pick up a KO on that Lele for game.
Which is what they're setting up with that Revitalizer grab as well, I have to imagine. What are you guys talking
Right.
about? 5th graders? Oh, okay, talking about Rose is a teacher, so I'm like, turn themselves into Smurfs. What the heck are we talking about? Yeah. But there's a field
I've been
blower.
watching Ned's Declassified on Netflix, so this
Oh,
just feels like
nice.
something that they would be doing on there, to be
Wait,
honest.
is it on Netflix now? I'm not gonna like I'm like not gonna give free advertising to Netflix, but also like I loved that show so much. I never got to watch like the end of it. So if it's on Netflix, your girl might
Only
be
only first
ending
two
the.
seasons, unfortunately,
I'm
but
like, your girl might be ending the stream real quick to go watch Ned's Declassified. Like, you guys didn't want to see the finals anyway. It's okay. Bye.
so I wonder if we're gonna see three Decidueye coming into play here. That's huge, especially when there's no immediate Garbotoxin getting back online.
Yeah. Yes, Rose. Deal. You're on. We're watching it. Deal. I'm so excited. So, yep, there's the other Decidueye. So now we got the triple feather arrow. This is a pretty good setup. Again, we did at least unlock that Lele for Lee with the field blower. But is it too little too late? Because, I mean, I guess the only saving grace here is that now because that Lele is active, you could end Gabriel and both field blowers are gone and the hollow hunt has been used. So
Okay.
as long as we get a replacement tool on this Garbotoxin, it should not be able to get removed. Like the Garbotoxin will stick. But I guess this
So
Ninetales does open up that for a snipe to end the game in the Lele.
right. Because there's still two DC left. You're getting two
Right.
prize cards here. And in addition, you
Oh.
can even flying flip too.
Oh, right. Wait, I didn't even realize we could still, because we have triple feather arrow now, we could actually put one more onto the Lele. So yeah, a DCE onto the benched Ninetales or the benched Coco on the following turn, and that Lele is gone. Kind of unfortunate that you don't have access to the never before used Tapu Cure GX. This actually would have been really powerful this turn. Could
What do you
fully
mean the never
heal.
before used? I've definitely used that.
Although actually it doesn't really matter because with triple feather arrow, like you need to get the replacement um tool here, which I guess you can get, but I'm like I don't actually know that it would end up mattering that much, but it would have been really cool to see. Yeah, I've
Right.
used it before in Metagross. Actually, was a matchup
Yep.
where or a deck where I've used it before.
No need to burn your max potions when you can just heal two of those things.
Right? I mean, you're gonna get end off algorithm anyway, so
Exactly. No need to use it. Teammates for the Floatstone VS Seeker. I really like the VS Seeker grab here, actually.
mm,
I think because you're always getting the Floatstone, but the second card really doesn't matter all that much, and so I think VS Seeker is giving you the most outs based on what is in your discard pile, which is I'm pretty sure Lee has access to every supporter they could want other than Bridget.
right. And something that's really interesting here is that Gabriel played themselves to a 0 card hand last turn, so they are seeing 3 blind cards with 2 prizes taken plus a top deck. So and they have the DCE.
There we go.
Wow. They take the KO on the Lele on the bench. Game 3. Wow. Yay. So we are moving into game 3 of the finals. Super, super hype after a very well played game. I think even just the 2 games we've seen so far from both sides have been masterfully played. Um,
I would
Discord
agree.
invite in the Twitch description is invalid. In the what? Which Twitch? Like this one?
Here,
That
let
one's
me help you
invalid?
out. Maybe
But
the
out of
one in your
taking
description.
though there's oh, it might be the one in like on my page or something. I don't know. I just like updated the Discord today, so I need to go through and like fix it in a lot of places. Um, but I'm taking gym classes in high school so they wouldn't have to use the gym showers. That's totally fair. Wait, that's not real. Axe came out in 83? I don't believe that. That's a lie. I'm being okay. See, this is chat taking advantage of me not being smart. Okay, because
You
I
mean
would
to tell
believe
me they were
that.
wearing that in the Breakfast Club? Hold on.
You can fix it up. You run a server. Awesome. Thanks. Um, Okay, well, we'll move into game three here. Okay, can someone look that up though? Nick, can you look that up, please?
Oh
There's
no, it
no
is
way.
June 6th, 1983.
What?
That is terrifying.
I just like I don't know what to say. Like I'm just speechless. Axe came out at no, not again. No. Yeah, Axe is older than the original Nintendo in North America. That is mind-blowing to me. We can't become stinky.
That's crazy.
Rose, there you're going to sleep. That is wild. Okay, but one thing to notice here in this game, we just got the GMO Lele. The Ultra Ball for the Lele for the Bridget. GMO Bridget was just played, y'all. Oh,
And
God.
it looks like we're going to be relying on a big wheel, so
Hey, that's my supporter.
looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet turn two here from our Drampa Garb friend.
No, there's a Sycamore in the discard pile. You can via Seeker for that Sycamore.
Oh, there was a Sycamore discarded?
There
I
was,
missed
yeah.
that.
I think they discarded it
My
off the
mind
Ultra
was
Ball.
being blown.
I know, right? We're too busy with our minds being blown by Axe coming out in 1983. Sleep typing and procrastinating. Yeah, your room is so frigid. Yeah, our apartment windows are not properly sealed, so it's currently like living in a fridge in our apartment, which is, especially her room, is so frigid. Okay, so something to talk about here is that Field Blower being played already. That is one Field Blower played.
I don't know if I agree with that quick of a discard there, even for the extra card on setup. That just doesn't seem worth it.
I mean, but is it if your hand is unplayable? And I guess you could even go into like a turn 1 Hollow Hunt here.
Yeah, that's always a possibility.
It's too hot. I don't
that's
know.
pretty wrong.
It's not
It's a pretty
wherever
strong
you
turn
are.
one.
Oh, thanks, Rose. Yeah, I mean, I guess if we are going for a Hollow Hunt here already, like, what else are you gonna do though? You have the Grass Energy attached. Like, I guess you might as well. Like, that's the best card you'd want back anyway, right? And the rest of this turn is pretty good. You could actually use this Hollow Hunt to take back some items just so that you are a little bit less susceptible to the Trashalanche. So I don't hate the Hollow Hunt right here.
Wow, 2 Decidueye coming down. And here I was just about to say, I'm a little bit concerned because they discarded 2 Forest to Giant Plants there, but I mean, you have 2 Decidueye out. I don't know what else you really need at this point.
Yeah, you're just like, you got everything you need. 2 Decidueyes, you have the energy down so you could Hollow Hunt to grab some stuff back. And did they play a supporter? I didn't catch that. Because we know they used setup.
They used Sycamore, I do believe. And we do need to see the Feather Arrows coming down. I hope they remember to Feather Arrow.
Yes, please.
And I would guess that they're just going to ping this active Drampa here because you don't want to open it up to any kind of like berserk play. Yep.
We have a guest. There's a cat, a whole bean.
She wanted to get
Huh?
She wanted to get forehead kiss for the homies.
Forehead kiss. She just leaned into me as I kissed her.
Ma'am, do you have anything to say? Very well put.
Good night. That's Rose. And Bean. We love Bean. Bean's a YouTube cat now. But yeah, that was a fantastic start from Gabriel. That was a really good opening. Double Decidueye. I mean, what more could you want? And I was looking at the cat. We did use the Hollow Hunt. Looks like the GX marker was flipped. So have to imagine that the Field Blower is back in his deck.
Yep.
As well as some other good resources. Yes, tucked away, safe and sound. Sleeping until, taking a little nap until the right time. Bean is amazing.
We could potentially just see here, a Razor Leaf for knockout on the Drampa right out of the gate. Not a great draw, honestly, from Lee off of this end. Gonna have to Ultra Ball to get the Garbotoxin online, but there's no Float Stone.
Yeah, and we're in that awkward scenario again of, do we attach the Choice Band to activate the
Right.
Garbotoxin? I mean, I think at this point, staring down double Decidueye, like you said, like this Drampa could go down and then you're behind. Oh, and you don't even have the energy to, like, you're not even getting a Berserk. You're not putting out like that much pressure here. Like, I think you're just going to big wheel this hand.
Yeah, I think you probably just go for that Garbotoxin with the Choice Band and hope that they don't have a Lysander play, because
Yeah.
we're kind of in the territory now where if Gabriel can get a flying flip off here, that's starting to put a ton of pressure on Lee's board, especially now that you have 3GX in play.
So Lee discarded the Psychic Energy, correct? Did we not attach for turn?
I don't think so, and I kind of would have liked to have seen that Psychic come down onto the bench Drampa,
Yeah,
because
I was
now
going to
you're
say the same
becoming the energy
thing.
attachment.
Right, and especially since you're relying, you don't play the Stadium to activate Berserk, you are relying on these Rainbow Energies, so every attachment with this deck is hugely important. And there is
Right.
the DCE found and a VS Seeker, so maybe we could even just see, is there a Lysander? No, but it,
Um, Man, Lee has just been drawing some kind of clunky hands. Like they work, but they just feel very mid, I think is probably the best way to describe it.
and that's very much what this Drampa Garb deck looks like. Like, it does have clunky hands, but the strength of it is really in the late game where you go N, Garbotoxin, Trashalanche, and your opponent's like, well, I've played all my cards, all my resources are gone. I lose the game because I didn't draw off N Garbotoxin. Like, it's a very, very strong late game. So don't be fooled by this start either. There's still plenty of time for this to turn around, and this Drampa Garb deck is very, very nuanced in how it plays and the strengths that it has. And I mean, even something as simple as this oh my god, Righteous Edge this turn to get rid of that DCE. The chip damage is kind of irrelevant largely, but getting rid of a DCE, especially after the Hollow Hunt has already been used, it's pretty big.
Right. Right. And we see an Ultra Ball here. Gabriel had a pretty quiet turn last turn, only doing that Razor Leaf for 90 there, not finding a Field Blower or a Choice Band. That's just not really what you want to see. Now, we
Ooh.
are getting close to where there could be a potentially pretty scary board you're staring down as Lee if, we see a Field Blower and the third Decidueye.
And there's the third Decidueye. I did get a quick count of Gabriel's discard pile. Only 5 items in there, but just a pass.
Ooh.
Wow.
That is not good at all.
Yeah. I mean, there are still 2. We don't actually know if the second Field Blower for Gabriel is prized or not.
Right.
But should theoretically be access to the 2 in deck still to activate those Feather Arrows again, because we do have the board state where, like, we got the triple Feather Arrow going, and I guess Lee doesn't currently have. It's interesting to not be playing. Did they already support her? I don't think I caught that. Did Lee already support her?
I don't think so, but I also think Lee. So the only supporter Lee would probably want to play with this hand would be N, because you don't really want to lose all those resources. But we also, so see, we know that Gabriel didn't exactly have a great hand because he just didn't do anything after playing a Sycamore. And so maybe
There's
Lee's
the blower.
thinking this isn't worth it.
Yeah. And actually, I like
So-
this. This is interesting. I mean, I guess we're probably just taking out the active Drampa here.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, it's interesting to not get rid of the Choice Band off the active, but yeah, we're just going to take it out this turn anyway. I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. It's kind of a cute play because you can strand it there so that they can't Float Stone retreat it. You could leave it like one ping
Right.
away, but nope, definitely just take the prizes where you can get them. And then what are you promoting here if you're Lee? I mean, it's got to be this Drampa, right? I guess that's the answer.
I would think so. And I think what's kind of scary here, right, is so we know that there's another field blower running around. We know that you have these three Decidueye out. That there's the potential to Razor Leaf into this Drampa, field blower, and then just ping it 3 times and take a knockout on the following turn. What I think might be a little bit concerning for Gabriel the longer this game goes on is the fact that that's your only forest in play. If you noticed when Lee looked at the discard pile, there were 3 Forest of Giant Plants in there. So you're kind of stuck as soon as that card goes away, and a Decidueye gets knocked out.
Well, I mean, I guess the one good thing here is that I did get a count of Gabriel's items played, and it's only 7, so only 140. That is perfect math for Garbotox, or excuse me, for Trashalanche. If a choice band is found, that would be the 170 left to take out this. Of course, you can just berserk it as well, but
Right.
yeah, it is still good math there. And 170 is good to take out Lele's at some point. Like, your prizes are on the board, and the field blower is found. So again, like you mentioned, with the stadiums being down, this Drampa Garb deck does not play any stadiums of their own. So the only way to counter that Forest of Giant Plants is with this field blower. We'll see if it's chosen to be played, and it is. Get rid of the tools, though. That's a good idea as well. Just put some more items in the discard pile.
Okay, and we're going to see a retreat.
This makes sense, though. Force those odd prizes.
Right.
And we reestablish the Garbotox unlocks, and this forces the last field blower usage out of Gabriel to get a 1 prize KO.
I had to pause for a minute because I was thinking, wait, you said there were only 7 items in there, but then field blower adds those 2. So actually, yeah, so we couldn't have even gotten rid of the Forest of Giant Plants because you needed those additional 2 in there to hit that 180.
Right. One thing we could see, though, from Gabriel on this turn is with this Vulpix promotion as well, we could see the Ninetales into a Ice Bleed to hit that bench Drampa. Is it 120 or 130 on the bench? I can't quite see. 120.
I think it's 120.
Yeah, so it would be 10 short from taking the KO there. Mm-hmm. And I think we're up to 9 items in the discard pile now. Maybe even 10 after the Ninetales was KO'd. Or not Ninetales. Oh, Ninetales in the discard pile, though.
This is getting a little bit scary if you're Gabriel. You're starting to get close to that 12 item count, which is what you don't want to see as a Decidueye player. Because
I couldn't
one
count
of the
that
perks
time.
of running that.
I couldn't count. I was like, this is too quick. I tried.
Oh. Yeah, I was just going to say one of the perks of running Decidueye is that you do have that 240 HP, and so it does take a lot to take knockouts.
Can't count either. Mood. I can't count fast. I can't count slow. I just can't count.
Same. I am interested in the Vulpix promotion here. We do see the Coco hit the board.
I'm thinking this is going to be a sacrificial Blake, unfortunately, because, I mean, anything else, yeah, it's just the beacon. Like, anything else would have just been smoked by this Trashalanche. Like, do you ever sacrifice a Decidueye? I don't think so.
Right.
2, 3. I think we're up to 9 or 10 with the items.
Okay.
Trubbish is a great top deck. Yeah, Trubbish is great find too. You can set up a second Trashalanche behind the active one.
It just seems like everything's going right for Lee this game. Pretty good hand off of the end. We're going to see a Lysander taking just the easy knockout on this Shaman that can Sky Return itself.
Right.
Knowing full well that you can just Lysander next turn and take a KO on the Tapu Lele.
Yeah, and just like that, game is sitting here for the taking for Lee. And like you said, a really, really heads-up play. I was actually going to mention that I love the targeting of the Shaman over the Tapu Lele, because obviously Lele is an attacking threat, but Sky Return can take that Shaman out of play. And it must not have been enough items. I didn't see how... I think it was 200 damage that was dealt, so we would be short of a KO on a Decidueye still. So if Lee had chosen that Lele and Gabriel had gone in with the Sky Return, it might have just been delaying the inevitable in the end, but Just a very heads up play to give yourself the best chance to win the game on the following turn.
Right.
We do see the last field blower.
Well, if there's ever a turn to play it, I think now you have to go all in and hope.
Agreed. And that force is still around, so we can get another Decidueye up and running here. But you need to end as well. Like, you need to KO this Scar. I guess you don't need to KO the Gar, but you need to end at the very least.
Yeah, I think you can leave the Coco active and just say, this thing's gonna die. Like, it's fine. Let's play this N here. But I'm guessing Gabriel doesn't have the N just yet if they're doing this Drampa. Because they're going to be taking 2 prize cards, and that really wouldn't make that much sense to just be ending yourself to a lower hand count.
Thanks for the bonk, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, maybe they're looking for an N off the prizes. That could be something too. Or like a VS Seeker. I don't recall how many VS Seeker this list played. I think it was less than 4, if I remember correctly. The Decidueye list, that is. Because you had Hollow Hunt. 3, right. So... I think they were already down the 2 VS Seeker. There were 2 N in the discard pile, so there still should be some Ns available, but need to find one here. Otherwise, Lee is just sitting here holding game with this VS Seeker for Lysander. Although I guess... no, because there's really no other way to take out the... Yeah.
So you said there were 2 Ns in discard?
Correct.
The Decidueye player only plays 2 Ns.
Oh, really?
So they need a final VS Seeker if it was only 2 VS Seeker in order to play the N.
Wow, so I think making room for a lot of those one-of supporters like the Skyla, like the Delinquent, I think a lot of these Decidueye lists usually played closer to 3 or 4 Ns, so I'm surprised to see that N was the chosen cut from the... thanks for the bunk. And it's just going to be a Lysander... And oh no, and that's gonna be game. Lee has the poor man's Guzma, poor woman's Guzma will play that VS Seeker, grab the Lysander, Floatstone out of the active, and bring up Tapu Lele, Trashalanche for game, and Lee, Master Lee, is Riley's Retro number 6 champion with Drampa Garb.
Congrats, Lee. Really well played.